Hey guys, Todd from Lowbrow Customs here again. Today we're going to install our Louvered Air Cleaner on this Evolution Sportster CV carburetor. Get rid of this big old funky ham can. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We'll get this air cleaner off of here in preparation to put the new air cleaner on. Now probably in your garage at home you're going to have a number 3 Phillips. That'll do the job. No problem. There is actually a special bit for these screws, but I can't imagine that everyone in their garage has one of these. But that's it right there. If you have that one, that'll grip it very nicely. Much better than the number 3. Either way, they'll both work. You want to support your air cleaner as you're taking your cover, as you're taking the screw out, or it will fall on the floor. And if you're going to try to sell it on Chopper Swapper, you probably put a big ding in it. Cover off. Air cleaner just pops right off. No fasteners required. Now you've got 2 breather bolts going into your cylinder heads, and you have 3 socket head into the carburetor. Next, we'll go ahead and remove those 3 screws. And for that one, we're going to be using, I believe it's 5/32. Yes, that is correct. If you have regular Allen wrenches, that'll work. I like sockets and I like long extensions. That's just me. Now, you may notice when you're loosening these, they're going to stay in that plastic thing. They're not going to come all the way out. They're captive in there, so you're just going to loosen them all up till it's not in the carburetor anymore, like so. 3 screws. Okay, once all 3 of these are loose, you can tell they're not in the carburetor anymore, but like I said, they're not going to come out of the holes. So now we'll change to a different socket head bit, which this one's going to be 5/16 for the breather bolts. And once you have those loose, you can just turn them out by hand because they're rather large. These are not going to stay in the plastic housing. So let's take those off of there. And don't be alarmed if you see a bunch of oil in your air cleaner like this one, because it's an Evo Sportster. There you go. We're down to the carburetor. In order to install our new Louvered air cleaner, you may notice when we took this off, these breather bolts and this big hunkin' plastic housing are what's supporting the carburetor. This is a spigot fit mount. In other words, on the other side of the manifold, there's just a rubber gasket, and this carb just pushes into that. So in order to put the new air cleaner on, you're going to need the gas box carb support bracket that we stock on the website. Very nicely made, relatively inexpensive part, and that'll get sandwiched. It'll go up against the carb face, and we'll put some Lowbrow Customs breather bolts in there, and that's what supports the carburetor to keep it on the manifold. And then the air cleaner will just attach in the same way with the 3 screws into the face of the carburetor. Here's our Lowbrow Customs breather bolts to complement the bracket. Obviously you can't use this bolt because it's way too long. We have them available in chrome and black. We also have them available for Evolution Big Twin. Evo Sportster is going to be 1/2 for the thread, the size of the hole, and the twin cam is going to be 3/8 16. The hole, they reduce the hole size on the cylinder heads on the twin cams. But we do have these available in either chrome or black for Evo and twin cam. One other thing here, generally there'll be a paper gasket on the back side of your stock air cleaner. If you can remove that carefully and reuse it, you can put it on the back side of this so that you've got a gasket there. Notice how the breather bolt has a hex, a socket head down inside it, because we're going to be putting some screens in here. That takes a 1/4 inch. Sometimes it's easier to get these started like so. You're just going to hold your support plate up there. Go ahead and get the 2 breather bolts started. I'm not going to fully tighten them at this time because we want to be able to have a little wiggle room to get the backing plate on it. These are all the way tight because, as I told you, the carburetor is spigot mounted, so it's possible for it to wiggle around a little bit there. And there's also just a little bit of play on this bracket. So you're just going to snug those down to the point where you can still move it a little bit. I can see that we look like we're lined up pretty well right there. We'll go ahead and take this out of the package. And it does come with some special screws, a gasket, okay, flat or Phillips head will work on this. Just going to take the cover off. To reveal our air cleaner and our backing plate for the air cleaner. Now, notice there's an extra little hole in here. That needs to line up with this extra hole on there, like so that this will be facing vertically. Take a look at these screws we have here. And see how the head of that is specifically designed for this so that it sits nice and flush there. And there's a good reason for the screw head being made so that it's flush with this, because you'll notice when you put the air cleaner on there, it will sit flat. If the screw stuck out, it would be poking into it. Okay, comes with a gasket. It's got some 2-sided tape on it. White backing piece off. And we're going to stick this on here. Line it up with your holes in the carburetor as best you can, like so. Might not want to push it on there hard because you might need to wiggle it just a skosh to get it lined up correctly. Once again, this is your vent, 3 screws. You want to make sure that you line up those 2 holes with those 2 holes. This is vertical. So we'll go ahead and get these started. I'm going to be using an 1/8 inch socket head on those. And a little dab of blue Loctite probably wouldn't hurt on those. Tighten them down. Once again, we're going steel fastener into aluminum carburetor. Don't overdo it. Last thing you want to do is take the threads out of your carburetor. Usually go around a couple times and make sure they're securely tightened. Now we can go ahead and tighten those 2 breather bolts. Again with our 1/4 inch. Now it's obviously lined up. I generally like a little dab of red Loctite on those. There we go. And to complete the installation of the breather bolts, they come with a fine mesh screen that's kind of almost concave. And you'll notice one side of it is coarse and the other is fine. You're going to want to put the coarse side in, just plug it into the hole like so. We're going to finish off the breather bolt assemblies with a snap ring. There's a groove in here. You want to be sure that this is clicked into that groove when you get it installed so they don't fall out. And anytime you're working with snap rings, there's going to be a flat edge and a rounded edge. You always want the flat edge facing in. See? If you can see on that one, you can see that one's clicked into the groove, and this one I just stuck in the hole, but it doesn't seem like it's clicked in, so you can just use your end of your tool. And there it goes. I just heard it click. I saw it. It's clicked into the groove. That's very important. If you don't get it clicked in, it could fall out going down the road, and then you're going to lose your little mesh screen thingy. Then all we have left to do, pop your air cleaner on. You can put it in here if you so desire. Get your center screw. You can kind of look to the back side. It's nice and long. That way, if it does come loose going down the road, there's less chance of it falling out. You may notice it. Just gonna tighten that up. I really like my snap-on screwdrivers because they have this hex on the shank. So when you're putting something like this on, you can put a wrench on it and give it that extra little and that makes this screw nice and tight. Once again, a little common sense. You don't want to crank it so hard you pull the threads out of there. And that's all there is to it. Our Lowbrow Customs Louvered Air Cleaner all installed with our gas box support plate and our Lowbrow Customs breather bolts. Pretty simple installation. Get you back out on the road in no time. See you later.